When I made my last video, I was in the process of compiling a bunch of images of red balloons in different situations, whether it be in commercials, movies, TVs, celebrities, different things. I was compiling screenshots so that I could make essentially a slideshow video for you to explain and show that it's everywhere. And in the process of doing that, one of the things I came across was a BMW with a red balloon in an image. And there were several images with that image, and I realized it must have been a commercial that I had never seen because I don't watch a lot of TV. Um, so I was just in a hurry to compile, a bunch of evidence for you. And when I went to make my video, and I got to about the point I've got laid out here, I wanted to check what I had before I went on, and I had put those BMW images just in there randomly, and I didn't even think about it. But when I watched the playback up until that point, I realized they were out of order. And I knew it, even though I'd never seen the commercial before. I knew that the apple would come first and then the water. So before I continued on, I decided that I needed to take a look at that commercial. And before I Googled BMW with red balloon commercial, I had a hunch. I'm like, well, what do you want to bet? That BMW commercial shows the car coming out of a tube like a missile or a bullet. And of course it did. And I was like, oh, well, yeah. And you'll see, I'm going to hit this and play it. And you'll see that I mentioned that in this I See Dead People video. I didn't want to play the actual commercial because I didn't want a copyright strike against me. But I'm going to give it a go in this video and see what happens. But you can see that I said that. And I show you the still images. And the balloons and the water come after that. Okay. And I'll just let you see what I did in my original video, and then we'll move on to the commercial. Okay. So now I had never seen the commercial up until the point where I realized the images were out of order and I needed to just double check it, and it would be important down the road to put them in order. I thought it would be important to do that. So I had never seen anyone break that commercial down, break it apart, expose it for what it is. If someone has done it, please leave a link in the comments. I'd love to see it. I know Jonathan does a lot of that stuff. He breaks down, he did a Gigi Hadid BMW commercial that, he explained what her name means. He explained that the back wall represented a DNA marker, and on and on. Fascinating. And he's done the Tom Hiddleston Jaguar commercials that are telling you the same thing. The Bud Light commercials that show the nuke missile, that also show the Hoover Dam coming down, and he's broken all that down, and the names of the people in the commercials, and he's just, he's amazing. He has a gift. Nicholson does something similar. I saw him do the Bud Light commercial also and see the same thing. So he has a gift too. Nicholson 1968. He also has Do You See What I See channel. He also has Nicholson 1968 website. I also like KJ Osborne, The Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. These people have gifts. And before I play that commercial, I just want to say one thing. I don't like to get preachy, but the greatest gift humanity will ever have is salvation in Jesus Christ. And I never understood that a long time. I never got it until just a few years ago. The next greatest gift you will ever be offered by a brother in this world is their gift of time while they're telling you the truth. They're not asking you for anything. They're just giving their time, their knowledge, the truth freely. It's up to you to do your due diligence and investigate. It's up to you to bring it before God and continue to investigate. It's up to you to have a spirit of truth in you, as Jonathan likes to say. Once you give up your time, you can't get it back. And just like you to consider all these people who are trying to tell you the truth and have gifts, who are doing it for you. They see things. They can prove it and show you, and you just have to do some research on your part and humble yourself, and you'll see if you can do that, if you're willing to take the time to do that. And that's the key. You have to humble yourself and you have to invest a little time. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, but you do need to humble yourself and ask the Lord to show you. So, I don't like to get preachy, but this is just another thing. It's confirming what I've been showing you through the Nina 99 Red Balloons videos, the different ones, different things I've been showing you and telling you all along. And I wasn't able to see those things until I asked. But I know, and I've known for years, that people like Jonathan Kleck and Nicholson 1968 and KJ from The Scariest Movie Ever, they're telling you the truth. Other people are too. But, these people are telling you the truth. Mr. Cat Eye sees things. What he believes, I don't really know. I don't know what's in another person's heart. But he sees it. I just got done watching Ghostbusters, and that movie pretty much confirms a lot of things he's been saying. Maybe I'll do a video on that next, but we'll see. Nine Nania, Her Dreams and Visions. Again, the Ghostbusters movie, the nuke, the tsunami. It's, so I'm going to play the commercial, and we'll talk. The first thing is that it looks like snake eyes. Or sometimes when Jonathan decrypts things or shows you images, he'll show you that it almost looks like an alien, okay? With the eyes and the big head. He shows that in a lot of stuff. So here's the car. It's gonna rev up and come out of the tube, and right here I'm gonna pause it. Okay. The license plate, and this is important for you to see. It says, because it's too small to see like on a phone, but I took a picture on my TV screen. It says JWE 511. Now, I want you to take note as I go back. This is the BMW M5 Bullet Commercial, and I didn't know that's what it was called when I originally searched for it. I found that interesting. But M in gematria equals 13. And then I've been told by a subscriber that the number 5 is associated with destruction. And I've tried to look into this, but I must not be looking in the right places, or I don't know enough about it. I would like to educate myself about it so that I knew what I was talking about, because I see 5 in a lot of things. I've mentioned that before, and I think that's why this person mentioned that in the comments of one of the videos. If anyone can help me out with that, with a link or point me in the right direction, I would really appreciate it. I'd just like to, I believe this person, and I would really love to look into it and find out more about it. As far as the license plate, saying the letters JWE 511, in gematria, J equals 10, W equals 23, E equals 5, and then the whole 511, because I don't really get into the gematria a lot. That's, other people do that and they understand it much better than I ever could. So if anyone has a take on that, put it in the comment box, or put a link in. I would really appreciate it. I'd love that. The 511, they do everything backwards, upside down, and they hide things in plain sight. And it makes me think of 11-5. Okay? And before I go further on that commercial, I'd like to just say, I'm not promoting Anonymous, although I do in a few playlists have a couple of videos with Anonymous in them that I believe have important information that you could go and investigate for yourself. I don't buy into the whole Anonymous thing, okay? Not at all. However, why I bring it up is Guy Fawkes, and I mentioned that in one or two videos before. Well, not one or two before, but in a previous video not long ago, I brought up certain symbols, and how many there's one big rabbit hole with a lot of tunnels, and I'll get back to the Guy Fawkes thing in the end, but I just want you to see this 511. I think really means 11-5. I'm not putting a date on anything, but if you think about it, in the movie V for Vendetta, they bring up remember the 5th of November, okay? And so I'll get back to that, but I want to play the commercial and you can see what I'm talking about. And then we'll get back to that. All right, so here's the commercial. And the car's coming out of the tube. It's revving up. And it'll come out of the tube like a bullet or a missile, okay? And it comes out onto the salt flats, and there is no license plate from here on out. If you check the commercial and you pause it, there is no license plate on the car now. It hits the big red apple, okay? The Big Apple, New York City. It's doing this in slow motion, almost letting it sink in, giving you time to let it sink in. New York City the Big Apple gets destroyed. New York City gets destroyed. Then the car speeds along. There's a light blue balloon, a dark blue balloon, and a red balloon. Water. The city gets destroyed, and then the water. Okay, and it's again in slow motion. Is it sinking in for you? Then we see a bullseye, except if you notice, it's only half of a picture of a bullseye, but the reflection of the salt flats turns it into a full bullseye. That's like that half and half paradigm that Jonathan's always talking about and other people talk about. Now, after this event happens, I think that really means this event happens, there's a ton of chaos. I do think it's going to be New York City and this New York getting nuked, the tidal wave. I saw some of that nuke in Ghostbusters, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Or I'll do another video another time. But anyway, my point about this whole thing is that these events happen, and possibly the Hoover Dam at the same time, which Jonathan has shown on the money, Nicholson has shown in videos, and Jonathan's shown in videos, and it's everywhere. These things are going to happen. There's going to be a ton of chaos. You'll be lucky to get any information on what's going on. And quite possibly it's going to be propagandized. And I told you in another video, go Google Smith-Mundt Act. It's completely legal for them to do it now, even though they've been doing it for years, and propagandize your news, which is exactly what they do in V for Vendetta. Okay, so we'll go to the Guy Fawkes information. Now, Guy Fawkes, okay, he got caught guarding all the barrels of gunpowder and explosives on November 5th, 1605. And they were going to blow up Parliament to usurp the power at that time and replace it with another power that they had all lined up. However, while he was running around before this, in between like the year that they were setting it up, see, he became involved in 1604, okay? While he was running around to do this, he ran into hold on, I just want to show it to you. I know who it is, but I want to show it to you. Captain William Turner. I just have to find it. Here it is. So at some point in May, he runs into Captain William Turner, and I only bring that up because this is apparently one of the spies they think, led to his demise. And I think William Turner is interesting because that's the same name of the character played by Orlando Bloom in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and he's super charming. He's the hero of the whole story, okay? So I just want you to contemplate what I'm saying. That Guy Fawkes was involved in a plot to overthrow the current government, and there were religious undertones to the whole thing. And he basically got caught because apparently this person may have been responsible for turning him in. And this is according to Wikipedia. Okay? If you watch the movie V for Vendetta, you will notice that the man who takes on the Guy Fawkes persona he sees what's going on, okay? And this more relates to modern times. He sees what's really going on in the world, that the government has a stranglehold on the people, keeps them in fear, propagandizes their news so that they really have no idea what's going on. Those people that are in power got to power by lying and doing some horrible things. And he knows it firsthand. It's not just some conspiracy theory. He knows it because he was there in one of the avenues they took to keep the people in fear, just like very similar to a 9/11 event, like a false flag. And he spends his time patiently setting up, waking the people up, and biding his time to overthrow the current regime. And I think it's kind of a mockery that the license plate says 511, which, again, it's not me saying anything's going to happen on 511. You don't put dates on things. They do. But I'm saying it's a mockery because this whole Guy Fawkes V for Vendetta and the movie, if you really go and watch it, and you watch it with open eyes and an open heart, you can kind of see some similarities, very many similarities to things that are going on in the world. And I saw a picture on the internet recently of, V for Vendetta with everyone in their Guy Fawkes masks. And the movie was made by the Wachowski brothers, the same ones who did the Matrix trilogy. And so that was made in 2005, V for Vendetta. And in 2012, there's a picture of all kinds of people in Guy Fawkes masks, all gathered together. So just a sign of the times. But I just think it's interesting because I think that the whole idea that there's going to be civil unrest and people are going to try and overthrow the government is laughable to them because they know at this point they've got you. Everything's already ready to go on paper. All the laws are in place for whenever this event happens. You know, even if we do have an election and we choose a president, if that president is never sworn in, like right up until that president is sworn in, Obama gets, to do whatever. At any point, for any emergency, he can declare a national emergency. FEMA takes over. There's martial law. Even if we've had an election, he does not have to let power transfer. I'm not saying he's going to be our president forever. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just saying people aren't even aware of this. This is a law that George W. Bush signed, I think November or December of his last year in office. Just the last few months he was in office. And people have already forgotten about it. So it's almost like they're mocking you, and they're the ones that are really going to pull off this total transfer of power into a one world government where there really will be some serious things going on, and you're going to have to make a choice. Like at the end of the commercial, you're either going to be a sheep or a goat, if you're still here, that is, or a wheat or a tare, seed of the serpent, seed of the woman, just like Jonathan says, just like Nicholson talks about, just like KJ talks about. Those are men with gifts. People to pay attention to. These are people I've been listening to for years. Truth fears no investigation. And any time I have ever heard something from any one of them and I'm like, I wonder if that's true, and I go and look it up, sure enough it is. And it's not some crazy blog post from somebody way out there with some wacko ideas. These are legitimate sites. These are things you can go and look up. Colleges, all kinds of stuff. I once told you that Nicholson pointed out about nanotechnology and CADMs and triple strand DNA, and I was like, wow, I know they're way ahead of us. And I thought I was open-minded, but I had to go and look, and I trusted him then, and I was like, I gotta go check that out. And sure enough, it came right up. It was like Yale University. I'm just saying, think about it. Look into it. And thank you for your time.